In this video, we're comparing the double tap gesture, comparing it against assistive touch with some modifications to show you how you could somewhat enable it on your Series 8 or older Apple Watch. But we're also going to go ahead and compare the assistive touch feature capability with the Ultra 2nd generation as well as the Series 9, because on my wrist I have the Ultra 2, which has the double tap gesture capability. And on my right wrist, I have the Ultra 1st generation, which has assistive touch enabled. And you see, this is one of the limitations that it has. So real quick, the double tap gesture is honestly very limited. And in my opinion, this is probably one of the worst launches for Apple in general in terms of the next generation Apple Watches, because the Ultra 2 was not released with the double tap gesture, which was advertised to upon release until a future firmware update. And right now I'm on the developer beta. As time making this video, it still is not yet available publicly unless you're in a public beta or developer beta profile. In the main watch face, if I do the double tap gesture, it will take me quickly to my smart stacks, which allows me to have access to the first widget depending on the settings that I selected. But here you can see in third-party apps or even first-party apps, it's very limited as you really can't do much compared to assistive touch. Apple did feature this to be able to pick up phone calls, which works really well, much better than assistive touch in my opinion. And if you're a chef, if you utilize the timer app a lot, you have full capability to quickly pause or play or dismiss your alarm in the clock app. And if we let this timer run out, you have the full freedom to dismiss it just like so. But in terms of operating the Apple Watch, that's really it. And there's only like 2 settings you could really adjust, which can be located in the settings app in your Apple Watch. And then scroll all the way down until you find the gesture tab. And here where it says double tap, tap on here, and this is where you could go in and enable this. But on playback, you can allow it to pause and play or skip tracks. And Smart Stack, you can select the first widget or you can hit advance, and that's truly it. And with the advanced checkmark enabled on the Smart Stack, if we go ahead and go in here, it just gives us full freedom to navigate between each widget that we have selected on our Smart Stack. And then if we grab our iPhone and we start playing music, and if we use a third-party app like YouTube Music as an example, it will launch right here on our Apple Watch, but we do not have freedom to interact with third-party apps. So like Spotify, YouTube Music, or other streaming music platforms, we can't interact with it even with the double tap gesture. So it's not supported on third-party apps. However, there is a walk around if you go into the Now Playing section. You could pause and play your media right here. And this also includes watching movies, YouTube videos. So if you have your iPhone like from afar, you could pause and play by simply just doing this gesture movement from your wrist. That's where I find it extremely useful after a week of playing with it. Now, if you'd like to enable this on an Ultra 1 or a Series 8 or older Apple Watch, a nice substitute would be assistive touch, but you don't want to do it incorrectly. Because what most people will do, if we go into settings, and so long as you're on the latest WatchOS version, you have this new setting to enable. And you could go down in the settings section and go into accessibility. Keep scrolling down until you find assistive touch. You do not want to turn on assistive touch. What you want to do is go into quick actions and just select on, because now we actually do have double tap. But this is where I mean it doesn't work the same, because you have no capability to interact with your Smart Stack. You still need to rotate the digital crown to do this. But when it comes to picking up an incoming call, it does say double tap right here. And if you perform the gesture, you're able to pick up the call. But in my personal opinion, it's kind of very laggy as I accidentally hung up because it just now responds to the previous command. It's not really responsive. And I see why Apple didn't add this on all Apple Watches, because it's just not perfected compared to the neural engine that's found on the S9 processor that's found on the Series 9 as well as the Ultra 2nd generation. But what you can do that's very similar to this is if we go ahead and launch a media song of some sort, music, and we tap play, check this out. It's highlighted blue, and that means if we do the gesture movement, a little bit not responsive as double tap, but it did pause and play our media. Just the icon is less luxurious compared to Apple double tap icon, but it can do that. And again, you can perform the similar thing when it comes to answering phone calls. But that's basically it. Because if we launch the clock app, if we want to go ahead and also set a clock timer of some sort, and let's set like a 5-second timer. If you do the double tap gesture, it doesn't do it. It doesn't work at all. But I can do the double tap to dismiss it. Yeah, if it lets me. And yes, I am using a right hand to control this, but I selected right hand. But if you like me to switch between wrists, I'll go ahead and much oblige and show you that the responsiveness is still as a headache. And similar performance if I even go into settings and change the orientation. It's not responding. Even though it's highlighted blue, it's just not responding at all. Double tap to dismiss. There we go. Now it dismissed after several taps to the point where my fingertips are starting to hurt. So it's limited and it's not perfected. This truly does allow me to believe that this is the reason why the Series 8 and older Apple Watches didn't receive this, as it's not perfected compared to the Ultra 2 and the Series 9. But something tells me if they took enough time to tweak the software, maybe they would have been able to easily integrate it as well. It is what it is, and that's the limitations between the quick action setting you can enable for assistive touch. And real quick, if we go back to the quick action, I want to go ahead and show you this. Tap on minimal appearance this way. Now whenever we go back to like set a timer and we have to wait for it to dismiss. Oh, there we go. It actually worked this time. But this way we don't have the big icon, gray icon on top telling us what to do. It just shows us the blue ring around the thing that we can interact with. Yeah, again, you can see how many times I had to do this just to dismiss the alarm. This is why when it comes to answering phone calls, when I've had so far from experimenting with this feature, I'm most likely to am to hang up a call. Now the Ultra 2 as well as the Series 9 does have the assistive touch capability. It just doesn't have the quick action settings right underneath the mortar, because if we go ahead and take our Apple Watch Ultra 2 as an example and scroll down and go into your settings, and then right underneath the gesture where it says accessibility, if you scroll down and you look for chimes, it's not here. All we have access to is assistive touch, which yes, you can enable this and use some of its features. It will disable double tap, but once you have this on and you go back, there's no quick action ability. So this will give you the default, let me put this on, the default assistive touch menu, which gives you full freedom to like do a lot of things here with your Apple Watch without having to touch your Apple Watch. But it's a big learning process, and most of the time from my experience it's a headache because sometimes it's not responsive, nor will it be responsive if you're doing the correct respawn. So I prefer just having this off in general. But for anybody who wants to somewhat take advantage of this double tap gesture, I do advise you to at least turn this on, because when it comes to controlling your media, it's actually pretty helpful. But in terms of everything else, it's limited, extremely limited to compare to what the Series 9 and the Ultra 2 can do with the default double tap gesture. It also looks better with the OS with this double tap gesture icon versus just a little circular blue outline of the thing you could interact with. But this feature is clear that Apple did took this ability that the assistive touch was able to do for a couple of years now. WatchOS 8, I want to say, that best feature, and just put it as a dedicated feature for the Series 9 and the Ultra 2 Apple Watch. But if you like to enable this, now you know how to enable it on your Series 9 or older Apple Watch, so you could again take advantage of the media control capability, because that's where I could definitely see it shining and being useful for others. There you guys have it. If you like to watch more, highly recommend checking out this video over here where I go through a series of settings to definitely enable, as well as I cover 100 plus amazing things you can do on the latest version of WatchOS 10. Thank you so much for watching.